Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker is in a fight for his political future, immediate future. Yesterday, Democrats turned in more than 1 million signatures in an effort to recall him following the budget showdown last spring, well chronicled here.
Yep. If the state's Government Accountability Office verifies the signatures, a recall election could come as early as May.
And Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker joins us. I believe this is your debut on the Curvy Couch.
That's right.
Is it not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's so great to see you in person.
Good to be here.
I wish for you personally it was for better circumstances, because now it looks as if you are going to be in the hot seat in a recall election, which will take place when? June?
Probably June, maybe even early July. I mean, the bottom line is they've got to certify the signatures. There's plenty of examples of people who signed multiple times. But in the end, as I predicted about 4 or 5 months ago, I said there'll be a recall election. We anticipated this. And in the end, we earned the trust of the majority of people in the state of Wisconsin in November of 2010. It's our chance to earn that trust again.
But what you did is you went in and said, I can't balance the budget without reeling in the unions. And you said, we're going to get rid of collective bargaining rights, and we're going to do it right away. And you did it. You passed it. And your program's in place. But a lot of people are upset.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I mean, you look at all the other states that had budget deficits. Ours was one of the largest in the country per capita. And we said, we're not going to raise taxes. We're not going to lay off thousands of public employees. We're not going to cut into services like Medicaid. We actually added more money to Medicaid. And we're not going to use budget gimmicks. Those are things all states did in the past. States like Illinois or Connecticut did pieces of those things, and they faced real troubles.
It's a mess.
Instead, we did long-term structural reforms that helped me not only balance my budget, but all the local governments, all the school districts, all the county boards, all the town boards now have long-term structural reform that will make their government work better. And the real bottom line is the national unions want their hands on the money. It's all about the union money. It's not about the workers' money. They want those automatic dues, and they'll spend just about anything to get that back.
Well, the national union people, you know, they can inject money into your race, but they can't vote. Any idea how, you know, the people of Wisconsin stand? I know in 2008, President Obama won that state,
right.
And then this past year, the Republicans were swept into power in both houses. So where does it stand now?
Well, it's going to be very close. I mean, Wisconsin, for example, in 2000, 2004 was the closest blue state in America. A couple thousand votes were the difference in the race for president. So it'll be a close race. For years, it's been an equally divided state politically, Republican and Democrat. I think in the end, though, the majority of people in this state put me in office to do what I said. I mean, interesting enough, you have a recall election. Normally, you have a recall about someone who breaks their promises. We kept all of our promises, and yet you've got a core group that are just sore about that.
And by the way, Wisconsin has added jobs in the meantime and cut costs at the same time. I think it's very fascinating to look at the same thing that New York is doing with a Democratic governor. Governor Cuomo in the paper today talking about slashing pensions. So will he face the same blowback that you did?
Well, of course, right. Of course not, because it's the politics. You had Deval Patrick sign collective bargaining reform in Massachusetts. You have Cuomo talking about in New York. You had a Democrat treasurer in Rhode Island. You have Jerry Brown in California. All real, even Rahm Emanuel in Chicago, talking about some of the same things at a local level, like we're doing at a statewide level. The difference is the politics. It's about the power here. I mean, interesting enough, you think back, people can go back to the days in Wisconsin of double-digit tax increases, but billion-dollar budget deficits or record job loss, or they can work together with us and move the state forward.
Governor,
that's really what the choice is.
And what I'm getting from you and from all the plethora of material, it's not really about Governor Scott Walker. This is about the next election and the direction of our country.
It really is. I mean, think about it. Not just about the 2010 or 2012 elections, but ultimately about whether or not we're going to have leaders, whether it's in Wisconsin, in Madison, our capital, Albany, in New York, or any state house across America, for that matter, the halls of Congress, when people are courageous enough to stand and think more about the next generation than the next election, what are we going to do about that? My hope is that people will affirm not just me, but the senators who stood up, took that courageous vote, and realized long-term our state and our country will be better off if we take those sorts of actions.
Well, it was the big story yesterday, seeing all those boxes carted in. It's good to see you live here on the Curvy Couch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Happy New Year's.
All right.
Stay out of trouble.